Hello, fellow historians. So I want you to just imagine for a moment you are one of the most famous, respected figures of your time. Your own father was the president of the most prestigious college in the country, and you've spent your entire life dedicated to its core principles. So it really feels like it's your destiny to lead it one day. But what happens when that very institution starts to change, to stray away from the path that you believe in, and you find yourself not just on the outside looking in, but becoming its biggest, fiercest critic? My name is Andrea Henderson, and for the sake of our shared passion for history and for the sake of Liberty University's American Christian Heritage course, Discussion Board 1, let's dive into the incredible story of Cotton Mather and his epic battle for the very, soul of Harvard College. In 1702, Cotton Mather was pastor, author, and son of Increase Mather, an icon in Puritan New England, and he published his ecclesiastical history of New England entitled Magnalia, Christi, Americana. In Book 2 of Chapter 4 of Magnalia, Christi, Americana, Mather frames Harvard University's creation as nothing less than a divine act. He famously says the colony founded the college, quote, that the churches of New England may not be supplied with an illiterate ministry. In other words, Harvard existed for one reason: to train learned, godly ministers who would preserve New England's covenant with God. That line became the rallying cry Mather used later when accusing Harvard of betraying its mission. So Book 2, Chapter 4, is essentially the foundation stone for Mather's later criticisms. In roughly 1707-1708 timeframe, Mather fired off a set of 12 searing questions to his alma mater. He wasn't nitpicking. He was accusing Harvard of rotting from within, academically, spiritually, morally. Students, he claimed, no longer spoke Latin, wasted time on novels and plays, and read theology that was poisoned with error. Worse, young men arrived devout and left spiritually shipwrecked. In Mather's eyes, Harvard wasn't just drifting, it was betraying its reason for being. The heart of the fight was simple but explosive. Mather's vision, Harvard's purpose, was to train Orthodox ministers, guardians of New England's churches. Harvard's direction, toward broader, more flexible thinking, in what contemporaries called latitudinarianism. And for Mather, that flexibility was deadly compromise. So when the vice presidency opened in 1707, he jumped, launching not a quiet campaign, but a blistering indictment of Harvard's failures. This was his case for why he had to be president. But Harvard elite thought otherwise. Twice, first in 1708 and then again in 1724, Mather was passed over. He watched the job go to John Leverett, a man Mather dismissed as an unqualified lawyer-politician, hardly fit to lead a college for ministers. The rejection for Mather cut him deeply, and his bitterness spilled into private letters and diaries. But here's where the story turns. Shut out of the presidency, Mather pivoted. He decided if Harvard wouldn't let him reform education from the inside, he'd do it from the outside. He started by securing funding for a different institution called the Collegiate School from a businessman named Elihu Yale. His hope was that Yale would be the path to uphold his beliefs about the education of ministers. He promoted Puritan theology and a classical curriculum at Yale: logic, ethics, mathematics, and sacred languages. Secondly, Mather began writing advice for his own son Samuel, who was set to enter Harvard in the 1720s. Those notes became the seed of his magnum opus, Manuductio ad Ministerium. It's a 150-page manual for ministerial students. In it, Mather laid down his true curriculum: pray daily, shun idleness, keep to the classics, especially Latin, and above all, guard your soul. So, denied the office he so desired, he wrote the handbook and influenced the growth of another institution. And in doing so, he cemented his vision of what a Christian college should be. To review, Mather published Magnalia Christi Americana in 1702, where he celebrated Harvard's holy beginnings, insisted on its ministerial mission. He published his important questions in 1707 and 1708, where he attacks Harvard for abandoning that mission. He secured funding for Yale in 1718 and influenced its curriculum, and he published his Manuductio ad Ministerium in 1726. He created his own educational program. So the lingering question, was Cotton Mather the last great defender of Harvard's sacred mission, or a man stubbornly resisting the winds of change? Either way, he was a man of conviction, and his fight reminds us that standing for what you believe, even against your own community, takes great strength and sometimes comes with a cost. Debates over what education is for, whether it's faith, morality, progress, those debates are never just academic. They shape the, souls of generations. Thank you for watching.